Well, hello YouTube, it's me Fortmaster, and welcome back to another The Men Talk reaction. This is the true origins of Princess Peach, which after I did a reaction to their other video talking about like the origins and history of Princess Daisy, I got a couple of people asking me to watch some more of their stuff, and including this video about the origins of Princess Peach, and thinking about it, I mean, is there really that much to talk about? I mean, I guess, like, Princess Peach has been basically there since the beginning. I mean, if you don't count Donkey Kong. Though she was known as Princess Toadstool for a while. Which I wonder, thinking about it, I wonder why the name switched. I mean, obviously, again, like, as, you know, how Princess Daisy was the much more energetic, more, for lack of a better term, more of a tomboy. Princess Peach has always been, you know, the very stereotypical princess. Like, very feminine, of course, you know, dresses all pink and stuff like that. So, yeah, of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it yet for some reason. Corner video linked to my Let's Play of the day. And if you like this video or any other video that I make, I'd very much appreciate it if you gave the video a like and subscribe to my channel. Because, you know, I know how YouTube works. I know the vast majority of people who watch my stuff aren't actually subscribed, and I'd very much like that to change. Because my big goal for this year is to hit 5,000 subscribers, and I totally believe that it's doable. And, you know, also, if you subscribe, it increases the chances of you actually seeing my content when I put it out, so, you know, win-win. But yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
So before we begin this video, I want to make up for an oversight on my part. In the last Mario video, I discussed Super Mario: The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach, without verbally mentioning the painstaking work that Kaneko Video and others put in to restore this VHS to 4K. Without their work, I wouldn't have been able to give such high quality images and videos. So I want to give a few seconds to shout them out for their incredible contributions to restoring this tape. And I'll share a whole link to that movie on their channel in the description below, so please go check that out if you have a chance. And now onto the video.
Nintendo.
Princess Peach, the princess in another castle, the driving
Always
force
in another
behind many
castle.
of Mario's adventures. First appearing in Super Mario Bros. Releasing for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1983, she'd be introduced as the kidnapped princess of the Mushroom Kingdom.
God, it's funny how, like, how designs change and stuff like that, because you look at Mario, and Mario is pretty much, apart from like different changes in proportions and stuff like that, pretty much looks exactly the same. Same with the Toads. But you look at the Koopas are sort of different, but then you look at Bowser and Peach, and like they're almost like two completely different characters.
Mario must save so she can properly restore the damage done by Bowser and his minions during their hostile takeover. Now, before we continue, I know some of my casual gamers out there might be thinking about the original damsel in distress that we see in Donkey Kong at the top of the construction site. So for those unfamiliar with the early stages of the series, this character is named Pauline, originally dubbed Mario's girlfriend during the events of Donkey Kong. So while I'm sure this particular character later inspired the creation of Princess Peach to a certain degree, they're totally separate, and Pauline herself had quite the reintroduction as mayor of New Donk City in 2017 Super Mario Odyssey. And wow, look at that, it's already been 5 years since this game came out. Sheesh.
Jeez. God, really? And like, when did this video come out? What, 3 years ago at this point, almost. Jeez.
Anyway, I have a full breakdown of Mario's origins on the channel already if you'd like to hear more about her. So with that out of the way, what are the origins of Princess Peach? Well, not much backstory is given on Peach here in the original Super Mario Bros. There's surprisingly a decent amount of story given within the instructions booklet for the game, detailing the takeover of the peaceful kingdom of mushroom people by the invading Koopa tribe. So everyone is turned into bricks and stones, which only Princess Peach herself can reverse.
Oh god, I completely forgot that's how it worked in the original games. So, like, when Mario is breaking bricks with his head to get power-ups and like money and stuff like that, he's literally murdering and mugging, like, transformed townspeople. Oh god. Oh no!
But the problem here is that she's kidnapped by Bowser and tucked away in a castle that Mario and Luigi struggle to find the entire game. This is all pretty straightforward, but there is one detail from the instructions booklet for this game that has thoroughly piqued my interest.
Mushroom King?
Who is this man, and why have we never seen his face in the games before?
Some business came up I gotta handle.
So we're gonna have to put our trip on hold.
So more specifically, in the English translation of the Super Mario Bros. Plot, it refers to Peach as the daughter of the Mushroom King, though this king is not mentioned at all in the original Japanese text.
Okay, man, that is weird. Well, I mean, thinking about it, I mean, it does sort of, I mean, make sense, because, like, it's the Mushroom Kingdom, and, you know, Princess Peach is a princess, so, I mean, it would make sense that, like, if she's a princess, then, you know, there's either a king or a queen that's currently ruling the kingdom, and that if she were, you know, fully in charge, she would be the queen.
But with that said, Peach does have a father that was referenced in a few different types of media before Nintendo completely wiped the presence of Peach's family from existence. Aside from the English manual, he'd also be referenced in the 1987 official Nintendo Player's Guide, with the plot summary for Super Mario Bros. Describing the Mushroom Kingdom as a peaceful kingdom ruled by a good king and queen. Another guide that was licensed by Nintendo called How to Win at Super Mario Bros.
Oh god, you know, honestly, I don't know which I like more. Whether, you know, having the actual Mushroom Kingdom filled with, like, toads and stuff like that, you know, people, actual mushroom people, or if it's just sort of like the mushroom aesthetic just comes from their wardrobe. Because honestly, I could get behind this with, like, the whole cap being just being a really weird hat.
This not only references the Mushroom King, but also has a picture of him beside the story. He'd also be featured in the Nintendo Comics System series.
Oh no. What is this phase? What is Mario on? Oh god, that is absolutely terrifying.
Published by Valiant Comics in the early 1990s, which features various comic strips of different Nintendo series like Mario and The Legend of Zelda. I guess a lot of these auxiliary books assume that there would be a king or queen ruling over, you know, the Mushroom
makes
Kingdom.
sense, yeah.
Man, shut your
There was even some speculation for a while that Toadsworth, Peach's trusted advisor introduced in Super Mario Sunshine, was her relative. At one point, the Super Mario Sunshine and Mario and Luigi Partners in Time website stated that he was Peach's father. But this contradicts what's been stated in the games, with Toadsworth being just her subordinate.
Which thinking about it, when was the last time Toadsworth was seen in a game? Because obviously, you know, there was Super Mario Sunshine, and then he appears in a couple of the Mario and Luigi games. What was the last game he appeared in? Okay, what's the newest game that isn't a remake? Tennis, Stadium Series, Super Princess Peach, Super Smash Bros. Oh, he appeared in Dream Team. Huh. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I haven't played Dream Team yet, so I guess that's why I never saw him in it.
Speaking of which, I haven't seen Toadsworth in a while. I think maybe Nintendo may have killed him off in Bowser's last attack on the Mushroom Kingdom. Anyway, within the games themselves, we'll say that King Toadstool is either long dead or just never existed until Nintendo says otherwise. Despite the status of the Mushroom Monarchy here, we'll return to Super Mario Bros., where Mario and Luigi manage to track down Bowser and end his war campaign, saving Princess Peach in the process, which makes the two the official heroes of the Mushroom Kingdom from that point on. So with that established as the plot, let's take a step back here
I mean, I'm not one for beards, but what's so funny about that?
and see what Miyamoto was thinking when he designed this iconic princess.
Hold on.
Peach's design was drafted by Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario himself, with some help in part by Yoichi Kotabe, the former primary artist of the Mario series at Nintendo. You can thank Kotabe-san for the finalized designs of Peach, Mario, and Bowser, and personally, I think this style is some of the best artwork for the series up to this point. Her original design is more or less intact to this day, her hair being blonde in color while sporting the iconic pink dress. And many limitations on the NES forced Nintendo to make a few concessions with her color scheme in the final product.
Which, actually thinking about it, looking at the sprite, So actually, what was it? It was several months ago at this point, but I remember like there was this fad going around on Twitter where just everybody was just like redesigning this original Princess Peach sprite, like while still using like the same color palette and stuff like that. And some people kind of went just, you know, all out designing like, oh, basically, you know, something that was completely out of scale while still, you know, being good. But then other people actually took it like, oh, they kept the same height, but like redesigned it to make it look better and stuff like that. It was really fascinating. I'm gonna have to look up some of those designs again. They were really good.
Product, with her hair appearing reddish brown and dress white with red trimmings. Now, for my Sonic fans, this next part might actually sound familiar to you if you've ever been involved in the Robotnik versus Eggman debate.
Oh god.
In Japan, Princess Peach was in fact her name from the very beginning.
Wait,
but
really?
in the West, she would be localized as Princess Toadstool by Nintendo of America to keep her more in tune with the theme of the Mushroom Kingdom. This would later be changed in Super Mario 64 to match her Japanese name, and we've referred to her as Peach to this day. So with that said, I haven't heard many complaints regarding this change growing up, but you all can tell me in the comments below why some fans still can't accept the name Dr. Eggman.
Dr. Robotnik!
Nobody calls me that anymore.
Hopefully I didn't incite a war down there.
Okay, honestly, so I mean, admittedly, I mean, I can totally see with, you know, the Princess Peach Toadstool thing, because it seems like they never really retconned it. They just made it so that her, like, Toadstool was her last name, so like her full name would be Peach Toadstool. The Robotnik one, I've never really been sure, because it seems to flip-flop, like, from game to property to property. Like, I'd have to actually think about it. I'd probably have to look up like a timeline to see when they officially switched. But like for me, it always seems like they seem to flip flop, or at least from what I've seen. Also, actually, thinking about it, at one point didn't they say that like Eggman was like Robotnik's son or something? Am I just imagining that?
So with Peach becoming the official damsel in distress for the majority of the Mario series, she would be solidified as one of the major characters in the franchise, going on to become a playable character in the US release of Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES. Even though this game is a reskinned version of a game only released in Japan at the time, known as Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic, this title would be very influential in fleshing out Princess Peach's abilities. We would see examples of this,
and also adding Shy Guys, Birdo. You know, it's kind of funny how, like, one innocuous game sort of added, like, comparatively so much to Mario lore. It's really funny.
In future Mario games where she can magically float for a few seconds to traverse obstacles, or in the Super Smash Bros. Titles where she can pull out items from the ground to throw at her opponents. We wouldn't see her playable in a traditional Mario game again until her appearance in Super Mario 3D World. But let's not forget about all the spin-offs that gave Princess Peach some additional character. While I'd argue that Super Mario RPG was the first game to give Princess Peach some more personality than the games that came before it, I think Paper Mario deserves the credit for evolving Peach into a more independent and assertive character.
It's been a long time since we saw my man Mario in an RPG, but he's back in style. They're calling this one Paper Mario for obvious reasons.
What is this from? Okay. God, honestly, you know, the funny thing is, like, actually thinking about it, because I know, you know, Paper Mario came after Super Mario RPG, and I know, like, while they do change up the formula every game, Paper Mario is kind of has its style, where it's just like Mario and whatever, like, companion he has for the game. I wonder if there would be a market to bring back or have like a sequel to Super Mario RPG where they have sort of the, more than two people fighting, like, you know, more similar to like an actual RPG.
Toonami gives Paper Mario for the N64.
Okay.
Paper Mario was first released for the Nintendo 64
I never really
in Japan
watched Toonami,
in the year
so
2000,
I mean, I lived
and
in Canada,
2001
so.
in the West. And this game served as more of a story-driven experience for Mario fans, returning to the role-playing characteristics of Super Mario RPG, and essentially serving as a spiritual successor and sequel for that classic Super Nintendo game. Princess Peach is still kidnapped by Bowser at the beginning of the game, but in a nice twist, the game gives the player control over Peach.
God, I just gotta say, so like, looking at this, I know obviously this was the first game in the franchise, but it's funny how, like, you look at Bowser, and his sprites and his like whatever you want to call paper, like the look that he gets in the other Paper Mario games looks basically identical. But then you have like Mario is sort of the same, though there are some differences. Like you can tell from one to the next to the next. Princess Peach, I I don't know what it is about this sprite. Maybe it's just the way like her eyes are, but she looks so derpy in this one compared to later games.
As she attempts to escape captivity within his castle, which not only serves as a great character development for her, but a nice break between the action from Mario's perspective between chapters.
I don't know what it is. They look
These interludes with
weird.
Peach have her befriending a star kid named Twink.
Sensational.
Oh god, languages, why do you have to evolve in the ways you do? Oh god.
Who will help her communicate with Mario in the meantime. She'll even fight and defeat Kamikoopa at the end of the game while Mario's taking on Bowser. I believe this to be one of the first times we see Peach offered some of the spotlight, and though you could argue Paper Mario is more of a spin-off to the traditional Mario games and characters, this was definitely a welcome change to the formula when it was released. Not to mention they would continue to involve Peach.
Yeah, compared to this in like Thousand Year Door, this sprite looks a lot better than the one in the first one. I don't know what the difference, I don't know like what specifically.
Similarly in the sequel, Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, and following that they would include her as a completely playable character in Super Paper Mario. It wouldn't be long before Princess Peach got her own game altogether, with Nintendo releasing Super Princess Peach for the Nintendo DS in October of 2005 in Japan and February 2006 in the West. But before I get into that, technically this wasn't the first Mario game to star Peach as the
That was one of those things like Super Princess Peach, ironically, was one of those games I really wanted as a kid, never actually got. But also, like the more you learn about the story of this game, like, I mean, the actual story in it like, goes onto this island called Vibe Island to find the Vibe Scepter, whose description is rather suspect, to say the least. Oh god, whoever did the translations, you knew what you were doing.
The only playable character. McDonald's was way ahead of the game back in 1990 with their scratch cards.
It's Mario! Look, Ronald! Mario's mystery block makes him big!
LCD Game Watches promoting the release of Super Mario World were one of the prizes. There were 3 different watches, each with a different game: Mario's Egg Catch, Luigi's Hammer Toss, and Princess Toadstool's Castle Run. This was basically Temple Run before Temple Run. So next time someone says that Peach hasn't started her own game aside from Super Princess Peach, show them your enlightenment and preach the gospel of Princess Toadstool's Castle Run. Anyway, Super Princess Peach switched up the Mario formula a little bit with Bowser kidnapping Mario, Luigi, and the Toads. And in Peach's defense, by the way, Mario gets kidnapped quite a bit too.
But I mean, to be fair, it's not as often.
So with all the usual heroes in Bowser's clutches on Vibe Island, where he builds a summer getaway home, Princess Peach steps up to the plate to get her friends back, while Toadsworth gives her a talking parasol named Perry to assist her on her adventure. This game has mechanics built around emotions, with Bowser using something called a Vibe Scepter.
Oh my god, what is that, a dildo?
That allows him to influence the emotions of his army. With this in mind, Peach has 4 different vibes she can use that will trigger abilities to help her on her journey. For example, if the player uses joy, Peach's happiness will allow her to float and reach obstacles that are hard to reach. Also, Perry, that talking umbrella I told you about, he used to be a real boy with magical powers living with some old man before getting zapped into his umbrella form by some hating magicians.
Wait,
Pinocchio,
really?
is that you?
Everything is new to me.
You, stand back! Don't come near me!
He manages to wiggle out of their captivity and was found by a traveling merchant that sold him to Toadsworth. And I have to wonder what he was doing with Perry before he handed him over to Princess Peach. Anyway, Peach manages to track down Bowser, and together with Perry, she...
Oh my god. Okay, honestly, all I can think of was like maybe Toadsworth didn't know, and he just had Perry stuffed in like one of those umbrella holders upside down in the dark for, you know, God knows how long.
defeats him and ousts him from his own villa, freeing Mario in the process. And as for Perry, if you thought they found some way to transform him back into a human, nah. That wasn't Mario and the gang's priority here. Back in the cage for you, Perry. On a more serious note, this is one of the few Nintendo games I couldn't find many development notes on. I would have loved to have been able to pin down exactly what the thought process was behind this game, but here's my guess. The Nintendo DS itself. The DS is one of the best-selling handheld systems of all time, and with its stylus-based hardware, it made games more accessible to a wider audience, especially casual gamers. I'm sure.
God, I remember. I don't know if I still have it anywhere. But I had my original DS. It was like both my brothers and mine were dark blue. If I remember correctly, I think our parents got them from... Oh, I can't remember the actual name is, but like they were ones that didn't pass quality control the first time, so they were sent back to be repaired. But because of that, like you could buy them like cheaper than just buying them brand new from the store. God, I remember. The thing is, like, I never had a DS Lite. For me, it was like DS straight to 3DS. Ah.
This mindset is also what made the Nintendo Wii so successful. Nintendo reported that 44% of DS owners were female, so I imagine Super Princess Peach was an attempt to move software for the younger female demographic. And it worked. The game sold 1.15 million copies worldwide, putting it in the top 50 best-selling DS games. But this game wouldn't be the first time Peach takes matters into her own hands, though. Let's switch it up to Super Mario Adventures, a set of comics that were published within Nintendo Power from January to December 1992. Though it's loosely based on Super Mario World, this comic takes quite a few liberties with the Mario characters. It builds its own original plot. Mario and Luigi are plumbers in the peaceful Mushroom Kingdom before Bowser and his minions pull up to ask for Peach's hand in marriage. He threatens to turn all her people into stone if she refuses, and even turns Mario into stone to prove his point.
Oh god, wait a minute. I think I remember seeing this like years ago now. I think I remember like somebody doing a dub of this on YouTube. Oh god, I think so, yeah.
Enraged, Princess Peach fights her way to Bowser's castle to attempt a negotiation with him, but at the tail end of her journey, she is captured. This brings Mario and Luigi into action, but this comic series is a little different because just because she's captured doesn't mean Peach is out of the fight.
God.
She actually tricks the Koopalings into thinking she escaped her cell and drops down from the ceiling, which knocks them out cold. Wendy and several guards try to stop her, but Peach manages to get to Wendy's room and she fucking scraps. She throws furniture at the guards and threatens Wendy by saying she'll shred her favorite dress.
Wait a second. How is Wendy supposed to wear that? Like, it doesn't look like there's a hole in the back for her shell. Like, how does that work?
Dress. But her escape's not done here. She grabs a cape and falls through the window and manages to fly to safety. Unfortunately, Mario is captured during his attempt to save Peach. So what does she do? She goes back to the tower with a ton of bombs and threatens...
Okay. Why is she wearing Luigi's clothes? And who is this guy? Also, okay, well, I just remembered, like, thinking back to the beginning of this segment, he specifically said that in this world, he specifically said in this comic, like, Mario was an actual, just a resident of the Mushroom Kingdom. Instead of, you know, thinking about that, I kind of like that more than the whole thing of, you know, Mario basically being isekai to the Mushroom Kingdom and stuff like that. I wonder why it's not done more often.
To blow up the entire building if they don't free Mario. This is the OG badass Peach. Personally, I think this series deserves a read, and I would...
Okay, so that's why she's dressed as Luigi. Luigi's disguised as Peach, I'm imagining. Okay.
Wouldn't be too surprised if there was some inspiration taken from this comic for the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie. Speaking of which, this movie seems to be switching up the formula as well, with Luigi serving as the character that needs to be saved, while Peach will become a wartime princess, coaching Mario on the ways of the Mushroom Kingdom before they bring the fight to Bowser. When the time comes, I'm definitely open to revisiting the movie versions of all these characters so we get an idea of what exactly has changed. But that will do it for this particular video, so leave a comment below if I missed any cool versions of Princess Peach or facts regarding her character. I hope you all are enjoying my Origin Oracle series, and until next time, be safe. And of course, happy holidays. The Prophet has spoken.
Oh, God. You know, it's funny. Like, for a character that is... like, comparatively so, like, stock and vanilla as Princess Peach, it's amazing the amount of stuff that can be hidden from you. Which, I mean, thinking about how long the character's been around and like how many different forms of media on top of just the games, I guess it does make sense. Still shocking though. Oh god. But yeah, it's amazing the amount of history a character can actually have when you look into them. So, but yeah, that's definitely going to be it for now. So yeah, of course, as always, original video is linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video linked to my Let's Play of the day. And yeah, with all that out of the way, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.